If you would like to see how we turned this into this, you'll find out right now by watching the Norfolk Southern Sherwood subdivision. You're watching the Norfolk Southern Sherwood subdivision. I'm Harold, thanks for watching. This is the third part of our three-part series. In part one, we fixed up the building and put an interior and some lighting in it. In part two, we laid the track that you see in the background. In this video, we will complete the scene so that it looks like what you're seeing now. We begin by showing you the baseboard on which we constructed this entire scene. The area where we're trying to put scenery is pretty difficult to access because of its location way in the back there. We had an objective of being able to do something so that we could do a majority of the scenery off the layout on the workbench and take what we have built and simply insert it into this back corner. First step in doing that was to create a base. We considered a number of possible ways of doing that and finally came up with hardboard. We took the hardboard, we cut it out into the pattern so that it fits. You can see there's the access road on the right, and we look along the track and we see where the track ends over there, and the board is removable. We will take this board to the workbench and finish as much of the scenery work as we can on the workbench, put it back on this layout, attach it in some way, and then we'll be done. Our work on the base for this area is continued, and we've done some painting. So we see actually 4 areas. An area like this is where the grass is going to go on both sides of the driveway, which is right here. Over on your left, which is right where the track is, will be grass areas. The gray, here, and way back there, is intended to be showing asphalt, as most of the traffic going into the building will be on the asphalt surface. I've just added a third color. It's this color it's drying right now. And that's intended to be a pad of concrete for when there's a delivery to the warehouse by truck. So you wouldn't want the truck sitting in asphalt. It's not infrequent to put a concrete pad in so the trucks don't sink in. So that's what that's going to represent. And the fourth area, the unpainted area, is the area where the building will go. So that's the progress we've made to date. Returning now to our project base, we've put in the first layer of ground cover, and you can see it right here. It's a combination of Woodland Scenic's Earth Blend blended turf, which is the tan color, and Woodland Scenic's Blended Turf Green blend, which I sprinkled a little bit on top to make it seem like something is growing there. And you will notice we don't have full coverage. Some of the underlying dirt is actually still showing. That was intentional. You wouldn't expect this area to be closely maintained, or certainly wouldn't look like a golf course. So we put all the ground cover on lightly and intentionally left some bare spots. The next step in the development of this section will be to apply the static grass. Now it's on to the static grass. As the ground cover we just talked about is not uniform, so the static grass will not be uniform either. So we'll put it on. We're going to dab some scenic cement in various places. It won't be in all places. All right, that should do nicely. We have our static grass applicator. It's a not Gras-Master. We have charged it with Master Grass Blend 6 millimeters. When you put the static grass in the hopper, it tends to clump together, so it's good to stir it around. The application part is relatively simple. Sorry if the wire gets in your way. So we take our wire and we place it in a spot where there's static There's scenic cement. We turn on our grass applicator and just shake it. So we're done. Now that may look uniform, but when we vacuum off the excess, what we will find is whatever was left is only in the spots where we put the scenic cement. That's what we're looking for. And you see how it improves the appearance of the overall section by making it have some, not just color, but texture. Well, we said we would need trees, and so I went off and built a couple using some things I had on hand. The trees are formed by the tree armature here from Woodland Scenics. You bend that and twist it. The dark green foliage, which is a pad. You stretch it apart like that. That comes from Woodland Scenics as well. I really like that product. And you apply small pieces of it to the armature, and you keep them in place with our friend Canopy Glue. I didn't film that making of the trees, but I have a source that you will just love if you don't already know it. Check out Luke Talon's channel. This guy is famous for excellence in scenery, and I think you'll love the work he does. So give Luke a try, and I'm sure you'll be happy with what he's got. For now, we will move on to the next topic. We return now to our scenery base, and what you're looking at is the footprint of the structure. And I want the structure to be removable so I can do something to the lighting if I need to, or add some extra features inside if I want to. But I don't want it to move around, so I can't just sit it there. What I devised was this. These are styrene angles, 1/4 inch angles made by Plastra. I've taped them into place on all 4 sides, and I painted them black so you can't see them. And they're there in order to keep the building in place. Now I'm going to put the building back on, and we'll see what it looks like with those things in place. I've put the structure back in place along with a number of other details that we're planning to use. We have a loading dock, so we now have things being loaded and unloaded. The place has to be air conditioned, so we have a rooftop air conditioner sitting there. We have trash, so we have a dumpster that we've placed right there. You've already had a look at the trees, and this area is going to be a parking lot for our customers and our employees. What we don't have, because I just now received the kits to make it, is a little fence here to enclose the dumpster, and a chain link fence that's going to go around here like this. We'll get to work on the fencing, and we'll show you the result coming up. We have returned with the fences in place. We've made 2 fences, in fact. The green one is a Walther's corrugated fence kit. I found this kit very easy to build, and I think it makes a nice looking fence. The chain link fence in the back there was also a Walther's kit, chain link fence. I sort of found the opposite. I found this, even though it looks simple, I found this to be very difficult to make because of all the little parts, the posts and the rails, and then the mesh that you had to put on there. When you see the finished product, it looks simple, but this took quite a bit more work than I was expecting. So if you're going to build a chain link fence, it's a legitimate kit, but you have to be prepared to be very careful and take your time. Additionally, we've put in some parking lot signs. Our next step will be, this is all in there temporarily, our next step will be to remove all these things and take our base and glue it to our layout. After that, we will be able to drill some holes to run the wiring for the building, probably put a couple of parking lot lights in and some scenery surrounding it, and at that point we will be done. This is the final product. We've added the parking lot lights that you can see. They're from Woodland Scenics. We've staged it with a couple of vehicles. You might ask, where are the people? The people are on order and they haven't arrived yet, but we'll put them in when they get here. Beyond having no people, this project is now done. So we thank you for watching the Norfolk Southern Sherwood subdivision.